I do, Stuart.
Yes.
Do you have any words about being less self-critical, self-judgmental, and more self-forgiving? Any strategies?
Do I have words on that? I have books to write on that. Yeah, look, let me ask you, Jenny, what do you think? What do you think about that? I mean, look, how can you progress? Try and sit still and sit up. How can you progress in your spiritual practice if you spend all your time judging yourself? That means you're going to be judging others. How can you progress if you can't forgive yourself the mistakes you've made in your life? The whole point of all this is being able to move on. There is no past. Understand, the past is a shadow. And if we can move on from everything that's happened in our life and learn to live in the moment, that's what this meditation is all about. That's what spiritual practice is all about. As they all said, it's learning to be here now, I mean, they wrote all these books, The Power of Now, Be Here Now. I mean, that's what it's all about. And you can't do that if you spend all your time, or you spend any time, self-judging and criticizing and et cetera, et cetera. All you do is you hold yourself back and you just forgive and you move on. I wrote a book called Moving On, Finding Happiness in a Changed World. It's a book of, I don't know how many aphorisms that the original aphorisms that I wrote. And that's what they're about. Being able to move on. Being able to say, I forgive me, I forgive other people. I can't cling to the past. It doesn't matter that I made a mistake. I can learn from the mistake. In fact, I sincerely believe there are no mistakes. They're just opportunities to learn and grow. And if you forgive yourself, then you're going to be able to forgive other people. And suddenly the world becomes a different place that we're living in. So yes, I mean, I have volumes to write on this subject. It's just an endless problem in the lives of most people. They're victims, they're full of guilt. They're raised in religions that make them think they're full of guilt. And all of that is, it's all about forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving other people, being able to move on, to step forward in your life. And all you're doing is stepping into the now, into the present, which requires total forgiveness, because you can't live in the present if you spend all your time thinking about the past or worried about the future. So that's what that's all about. And I mean, I've never met anybody who in their lifetime hasn't screwed up at least 1,000 times, ever. And if anyone ever told me that they did not, I would tell them you're full of shit. I don't believe a word you're saying. We all mess up. We all mess up. We all have to learn how to let go of it, to surrender it, because the whole essence of all of this is just to be a happy human being. A happy human being becomes a servant of God. Not a person who's traumatized all the time by mistakes they made.
Thank you, Stuart. Thanks.
You're welcome. And, it's such, just to finish up this, it's such an essential element of not only what I teach, but if you ever read the Bhagavad Gita, the Buddha, the Vedas, the Bible, it's all about this. Because the ultimate goal of each and every one of us is to attain the highest state we can attain as a human being. At that point, we become children of God. You know, in my last, I don't know if it was the last one or one of them. Yeah, the last one, I think. Not the one that's coming tomorrow. Thing I posted about this Tantra book that I'm writing. There's a whole section in there about, about a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, a very great artist who lives in Paris, an Israeli artist. And he lives in Paris. And he was once, talking to him about Rudy's meditation practice. And he said something that really stayed with me in a profound way. He said, when Abraham was born, his name was Abram, not Abraham. And at some point, God put the H in his name. And in Hebrew, the H is the sound of breath. It enabled that sound of breath, which is living in the moment. Every breath is the moment for him to become a child of God, patriarch of a religion. It's in every religion. It's in every, and anyone who's trying to find any kind of state of grace in life has to learn how to live in the moment, to be one with the breath, one with forgiveness, with love, with kindness, compassion, to attain the highest states of what it means to be human. Otherwise, all spiritual and meditation is just a crop of crap. It doesn't mean anything unless it develops that inside of people. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And just above, you got to be able to laugh at yourself also. I really mean this. I mean, probably 50% of the battle is just to be able to laugh at yourself. Say, schmuck, what are you doing? To yourself, not to somebody else. Say it to somebody else, you'll get into a fight. But to yourself, what are you doing? Move on from your anger, your upsetness, your rage, or what life has done to you. Life has done it to everybody. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Well, as I've been announcing all week, on Sunday, there's not going to be a class here. I have to go to a memorial service for a person who at one point in my life I was a very dear friend of mine, very close to. And I'm going to go to the service. It takes place exactly at 1:00 my time. And so there won't be a class. There will be a class on Tuesday. And does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, so let's all move on. Okay. Let's have a good laugh at ourselves, okay? And say, well, what? I don't have to be upset at me or anybody. I can transform that into an open heart, into love, into higher levels of what it means to be a human being. So God bless you all. Thank you for being here. And for in every way being my teacher. Your presence here is a teacher for me. So God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
See you on
Thank you,
Tuesday.
Stuart. Thank you.